Sending the Right Message by Delagora, August 31st, 2019. Appealing Elements of Agorism. One of the more appealing elements of agorism is the sheer practicality of it. We deny the lifeblood of the state while creating solutions to real-world problems. We need to be just as practical in our interaction with those who believe the government is necessary or, worse yet, good. We need to know what to say and how to say it to effectively spread the ideas of peaceful coexistence in a wholly voluntary society. We have all come across those who simply believe that the state has and must always exist. Often these are our own family and friends. Maybe you have argued with them that if humans are so evil that we need a government to control us, yet that same government is made up of people who must be evil, who are not controlled by someone else. Maybe they are not willing to see the contradictions. If your experience is like mine, I argued strongly for freedom, but in most cases ineffectively. Because I already knew these people on one level, I felt comfortable to just put it all out there at once. That was my mistake. This approach can feel like bullying, or at least can be overwhelming. None of us came to agorism with all the answers and accepting all facets of a free society, and we need to remember this when talking about freedom with others. Help them up the ladder one rung at a time. Accept whatever positive movement in their beliefs they may make. Sure, they are not there yet, but you've helped them move closer. Take that 10% and work on 90% later. The belief that the state is necessary is not a reasoned belief, though many believe otherwise. The belief is one of faith. It is a position reached primarily through emotion, not reason. When our goal is to plant a seed or even outright change the mind of a believer, we must keep the nature of that belief in mind. Because it is, by and large, not a position reached through reason, we need to tread carefully through the emotional minefield of their beliefs. Whether you are talking to friends and family or to people you have just met, the first step is to know your audience. This means first listening to what they are saying. Yes, you are eager and excited to introduce them to agorism and to provide all the answers, but chances are they are not ready to hear it all yet. So stop thinking about what you're gonna say and listen. If you want their attention, you must be likable. This means listening to them. What issues are they raising? If they are complaining about how the police treat suspects, then run with that. Agree with them. Suggest some fixes like private accountability committees. This can move them gently toward accepting a free society. When talking to someone motivated by money, then perhaps discuss the economic aspects. Note the opportunity costs that come with taxation. Mention the high cost of taxation on the employee, or if you're talking to a business owner, ask how many more employees he could hire if it were not for the high cost of taxes. Don't worry about suggesting more profit, he will make the connection himself. For someone motivated by fear, agree with them that there's a great deal to fear today. Then focus on the danger of government using historical facts in current programs. Cite the positive examples of people helping people, paying special attention to those cases where the government stepped in to stop that aid. This also works well for those who support a public safety net. Simply ask why the government won't let us help one another. This phrasing will plant another seed of doubt. Maybe you encounter someone who's very efficient, so you can address the inherent waste in government. Ask rhetorically why it takes massive numbers of bureaucrats to do what could be done by just a handful. Or perhaps you're in the Bible Belt surrounded by religious people. This gives you the opportunity to ask why government should be able to decide how religion can operate. There's often a perception of religion being targeted by the state, so work with that belief. Or perhaps you're talking to someone on the other side of the spectrum, a free-spirit creative person. Maybe they're affected by laws that are heavily influenced by religion. Laws against same-sex marriage provide an opportunity to suggest getting the state out of the marriage business. In fact, this works for those on both sides of the issue. Regardless of the issue, always be civil and as polite as possible. Keep in mind that unless you're face-to-face in a closed room, you likely have lurkers who are listening. This is even truer on the internet, where literally anyone could be reading your conversation. In my experience, these lurkers, these folks following, but who do not have their ego in the discussion, are your real target audience. Since they have not come out as being pro-government, they do not have their ego on the line and are far more likely to consider your examples and ideas. All of this may seem like common sense, but how often do we see it actually practiced? We need to remember this ourselves, and to gently remind those who have already adopted the ideas of a voluntary society of this as well, so we can be much more effective in spreading these ideas. If we cannot get these ideas across to those who currently oppose the voluntary society, we cannot move forward toward that society. So, remember the following 6 steps whenever discussing ideas of liberty. 1. Listen. Most people are happy to tell you what is bothering them. 2. Agree. Find some element of the agreement. This helps keep the discussion a conversation instead of a confrontation. 3. Ask questions. Even rhetorical questions can help build a rapport that will allow them to open up to your ideas. This also reassures them that you're listening. 4. Provide an alternative. If you know of a way to resolve the issue voluntarily, suggest it. Here again, putting it in the form of a question may help your audience be more receptive. 5. Remember to take small steps. They are at best in their infancy stage with regard to liberty. 6. Be willing to let them have the last word. Remember, you are just introducing them to the ideas. Give the listener time to come to terms with your suggestions. They may not come around, but if we push too hard, they will harden their resolve not to listen, and then never embrace the ideas of liberty. Each of these will help us, and in turn the ideas appear likable. Remember, we are essentially selling ourselves and these ideas, so we need the listener to be receptive. The more effective we are at adopting this approach, the faster the ideas of liberty will spread. End article.